Alrighty, hello everyone. Again, this is becoming almost a daily thing. For those of you who have been joining us live on YouTube, this is Chris Hoffman in the Mobile Weather Lab. I have the pleasure of being with Brian Orr today. He's the one behind the wheel and behind the lens. Well, behind the lens when we're not in here. The camera is obviously safely in here that he can focus on driving. Sorry for making anything not clear there. But yeah, once again, thanks for joining us live on YouTube here. We're taking a look right now at North Avenue outside Allegheny General Hospital over on the north side. Today, crews and contractors are still out there, trying to get stuff clear. We spoke with Mayor Corey O'Connor. He met with Department of Public Works today to really do a look back at what went right, what didn't go right, what needs to be fixed, moving with future storms in the city. One of the big things, obviously, is the trucks breaking down. But also, lots of drivers apparently were not trained well on the route. Some of them are very new to it, and that obviously created a little bit of issues because some were hesitant on certain streets because of how tight or just some of the crazy hills around here. That's something they want to address, is get better training. And then with trucks, they are trying to put in an order for 50. And the challenge there is vendors are backlogged on getting stuff done, so it could take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. So they want to get on that ASAP. So by next winter, those trucks are in use. The 20 or so Parks Department trucks that they serviced with snowplows apparently held up. So that's something they are going to keep doing right now through this winter. Again, you can see roads, pretty much it's the same thing like many municipalities. You got the walls of snow on either side. You got the roads that are clear. I'm actually going to bring in Brian now. Brian, you actually, you do live in the city as well. How have the streets been looking, since, compared to this time last Monday? How have roads been for driving around?
I feel like we've come a very far place since last week, that's for sure. I would go as far to say things are decent today, if not good. The big issue is just lack of space, and believe it or not, there's still some cars that haven't moved, which are I would think starting to become an issue.
Yeah, that's certainly a challenge for crews when they've been trying to dig out parking lanes or parking spaces. Like you can see right here as we turn on to this one. Is this Federal? Yes, Federal Street. You can see all this parking has been dug out, actually salted and cleared. So that's something they have been trying to do, is get through business districts, get into neighborhoods, so then you don't have to have the situation like you can kind of see on the left right now, where it's a little dicey in there in that parking situation. But that is something, again, it's been a work in progress. I know for many municipalities. When I had to go through Verona over the weekend, and they had this one, the main drag, they had part of it closed, Allegheny River Boulevard there, and they had brought in contractors, and they were just hauling snow out. Last week, we were in Sharpsburg, we were in Bridgeville, same story, hauling out snow from these areas, especially where there is on-street parking. For some people, that's all they have is on-street. In my neighborhood, I know a lot of people park on street, and they only about midweek they were able to get like a pass through to make it so it wasn't just one way, or one lane, I should say, enough that everyone could park again. So, people, it's been a work in progress. Oh, there's a classic parking chair right there. And what are you seeing in your neighborhood? Feel free to say in the comments. We have certainly appreciated everyone tuning in. It's been great being able to chat with you. It's almost become a daily occurrence. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if my name might be on the title for this car. In all seriousness, though, again, we do appreciate it. Again, feel free to leave what you are seeing in your neighborhood, whether you live in the city, whether you live in North Hills, South Hills, East Hills, West Hills, and even some of our collar counties around here. Feel free to tell us what you're seeing. But again, at this point, it's pretty much this. You can get to where you're going. It really shouldn't be a problem. Parking, that might be the toughest challenge, especially if it is on street. And that's something Mayor O'Connor had brought up in this meeting with Public Works, was addressing maybe if they could try to work out something with some of the like parking authorities, so they can get cars off the streets. That way you can try to get these a little wider, get the parking cleaned up, so then you don't have a situation like this. But right now, this street, the pavement, you can see it, but if someone comes down here, what are we on here? We're on Lafayette Avenue, up on the north side, maybe in kind of in the Perry Hilltop area. And if another car comes down Lafayette right now, well, we have to play the game of chicken of who's going to move over first. So that's the challenge. And again, some of these streets, even without snow, it's certainly a challenge. It's not like, even if this was perfectly dry, this wouldn't be a challenge to skirt by. And that's actually something, with how quickly they need to order these trucks, that's the next thing too. The administration and Public Works was saying was they have to make sure they order the right size trucks. On a street like this is Osgood Street, you couldn't have something that's too big because it won't fit. So the problem you run into is you got to figure out what size trucks can go on certain streets. Is it a pickup? Can you get one of the bigger dump trucks that with a snowplow like you sometimes see on the highway? Obviously, a street like this, that's not going to be the case. So that's something they have to do before they place that order, and then wait the time for those trucks to get fixed up, be ready to go, and come in. Again, thank you for joining us here on YouTube Live. We're on Osgood Street in the city's north side, and this is where you run into the little challenge because this is a tight fit. My man's going to have to, he's trying to move a little bit, but yeah, see, that's the one challenge we're still dealing with. I know many neighborhoods, but again, give this a perfect world where, you did just see nothing but pavement. These streets, again, they're tight, so that's why it's such a challenge with getting snow out of here and getting snow hauled away. We're coming right down. Now, what is this? Waiting for the GPS on our little inside the weather lab to give me the street name. Let me see what the sign says here. It's kind of an angle. I can't really read it yet. East Burgess Street. Again, city's north side neighborhood. And you can see, once again, there's a little bit of slush right there that unfortunately has froze up. But for the most part, again, looking at that, that's just a driveway, and that's pretty clear. But most of the roads are this point. We're at the corner of Burgess and Perrysville Avenue. One of the main, Perrysville being one of the main roads over in the north side area. You can see traffic, it's flowing smoothly. Again, is it a little tight? Absolutely. That's something crews have been trying to work on, is getting the snow pushed back a little bit more or even hauled out. Looking at some sidewalks here, that's another thing the administration is asking. If people can, get your sidewalk cleaned up for people to get through and be able to, walk on that and use it accordingly. If you need help, there is the Snow Angels program. If you own a business, there was a little bit more of a push to be like, hey, let's get this cleaned up so people can access where they need to go. So once again, the cleanup still continues. Contractors still working with city crews to get snow cleaned up. Brian, once again, I know you said it's looking better. What's it been? What have you seen in your neighborhood particularly? What have you seen crews been doing, and how has those efforts been ramping up, I should say, over the past week?
I'll be honest, we do not see a lot of plows on my street ever, and I've seen 2 in the past week, so that was very nice. The big issue, I think, unfortunately now is very much there's nowhere to put it. You get your car out, you can't put it in the road, you can't put it anywhere else because there's nowhere to go. So we need some warmth and to get rid of it. You can get around. It's tighter than it needs to be, but you can get around. And if you don't need to be out, don't be out still if possible, just cause. But you can get there if you need to.
And that's the big thing. Yeah, it's just where do you put all this snow? Now, we know they have been using some sites, including the Hazelwood Green. I believe it's a forestry division, some city-owned land that is over by the zoo, and it is just mounds of snow. The closest I could compare it to is if you've ever driven through the Mon Valley and you've seen those coal piles near the Coke Works, near the Irvin Works, things like that. That is what it looks like. It is just gigundous piles of snow that it's going to be a while before that melts. Now, one thing that was asked to Mayor O'Connor today was, what if this is all somehow still around during the draft. Now, obviously, that's looking a little far down the road, but the way this weather has been, this is not melting anytime soon. That is something that will certainly have to be addressed, and they are, there's plans for that, and they'll look at that accordingly. But for driving purposes, right now, if you got to get around, you can. Is it pristine, perfect, 75 degrees like in April? No. It's not going to be that for some time. But you can see here, looking down Perrysville Avenue, as we cut back towards the North Shore-ish area, the north side. Got a car here that looks like they're trying to find a spot. We've got a nice view of the skyline. It's a shame you guys can't look out my window and see the nice skyline the way this hill sits. But it's pretty much, again, it's this. It's getting these parking spaces. It's getting these shoulder areas even widened up a little bit and trying to get that snow hauled out of here when it's necessary. So that's certainly the challenge for municipalities is like, where do you put this? Where do you take it? Crews continue to work to assess everything, but the big thing now, again, from the Mayor O'Connor administration, was doing a look back to see what went right in this storm, what did not go right. As for the cost of the contractors that came in, that is something that is still to be determined. Once it is, the administration will have to go over to City Council, and City Council will then be asked to, fork over the money for that bill. So that is still to be determined, but even as Mayor O'Connor, that is, said last week, if they have to dip into reserves, he said he would do that. So that's something we will still have to see how that is being paid for and how much will be paid for and how much is going to cost. Now we're coming back down Federal Street, heading back into the north side, North Shore-ish area. And again, you can see, there's a bus, one car in front of us, and you can see it's wide enough. This bus has no problem getting down the hill. The problem now is also like for your own personal cars. When is it going to get to a point that's going to warm up and clean them off? All that salt corrosion, all that just debris sitting on your car, and that does nothing but, help rust out the bottom. Been there. So to clean it, you need some warm weather because you don't want to, get it all wet and covered in ice. But so that is where we are with that. What are you seeing in your neighborhood? Feel free to let us know in the comments. We know people, they've been digging out for over a week. Everything is, at this point open, and nothing really has I should say, in the past few days, nothing has been impassable. I mean, there's probably an alley somewhere. There's probably a remote road somewhere. But you really have to look for it deeply at this point. Again, Mayor O'Connor saying they are looking at training drivers so that they can be more efficient on routes in the future. That is something they really want to tackle in the summer, get them off of just a training site and into the neighborhoods where they operate. And with the trucks, they're hoping to get 50 new ones by next winter. Another challenge with that is they also want to make sure that the maintenance of these trucks doesn't get to a point where the city fleet is now, where you have many trucks that are due to essentially just be retired. They don't want to have a situation where, in 10 years you need to get another 50 trucks and, have to fork up some of that money that, may or may not be there. So there is plans being devised by city leaders now to make sure that, as they get all these trucks, they don't all have to be retired at the same time as well. Because that kind of puts you right back into the same spot we're in right now. We're going around the Commons in the Allegheny Center neighborhood right now, passing Dr. Martin Luther King, Elementary School, part of Pittsburgh Public Schools. And that was another thing that the administration was talking about in this meeting with Public Works, is utilizing partnerships. Some of that involved, utilizing Pittsburgh Public Schools, taking care of, areas near the schools, other cooperations that involve maybe even the parking authority. If they can get their lots clear, that gets some cars off the street. That gives you a chance to widen how streets are cleared. Also make sure parking areas are cleared as well, so then you don't have to worry as much about filling in and snow or plowing in cars, that is. So once again, over in the Allegheny Commons neighborhood, feel free to say what you've been seeing out there. How is it in your neighborhood? When did your neighborhood get cleared? Was it right after the storm? Was it midweek? Was it even this past weekend? Because we know that there's been areas it has been a challenge. If you have on-street parking, when did a municipal crew come by and dig out the extra snow? Did you have to dig it out? Did a municipal truck ever even come by? So it has certainly been a challenge. Again, we got a foot of snow. This only happens once every so many years. Last time we did this, saw this much snow in a single storm, I was in high school, and now I'm in my 30s, married, child, and own a house. So that tells you how long ago a storm like this came through. We're once again driving the Mobile Weather Lab on the north side in the Allegheny Center neighborhood, heading towards downtown, now getting on to Federal Street. Once again, about to pass by PNC Park here in a minute. Certainly lost snow inside there. The Pirates about to start spring training, and lucky enough for them, get away from all this weather. Lucky for them. And we are getting ready for a 5 o'clock story, so we're going to see you at the top of the hour once again from the Mobile Weather Lab, so we'll see you then. We thank you for joining us here on YouTube Live the last, 3-4 days or so. I know I wasn't in Friday. That was a nice little day off for working on Sunday during the storm, so I thank you for, welcoming me on your YouTube feed, spending some time with you. And again, hopefully this has helped show you what some of the roads are looking like, what the parking situations are looking like. And again, we'll see you at the top of the hour. Thanks for tuning in.